Hello race fans and welcome to the JACKOCAR Kia Series final round of the regular season here at Belgium. Many drivers have already qualified for the playoffs. Seven of them to be in fact, which leaves 12 drivers still fighting to get the final 3 spots in the playoffs. Tricky track Belgium this year, especially with the curbs, but hopefully if drivers keep off them, know to keep off them, then we should get a clean race. I will be commentating solo tonight. My co-commentator Risky is unfortunately at work, and I was going to be joined, I believe he asked if he didn't, but a naughty boy Red Matt was going to join me in co-coms, but unfortunately had to withdraw last minute as well. So you have to listen to me for an hour and a half, so that's great. While we wait for the lobby to completely fill, I'm sure we should have 19 drivers. I'm aware of maybe one reserve, which will be Thomas Nevitt. Is he in the lobby? He's not in the lobby. See if I can send him an invite. Ah, there he is. Invite. Yeah, so we'll go through the constructors and driver standings. There's a lot going on in the Kia Series chat, sorry about that. It's all kicking off as we're waiting for the lobby to fill up. People don't know that Sully's not here, Sully is not here. Should be here next week or might not be here for a few weeks. We'll keep you posted. But it is a 4-way fight, or technically it's a 6-way fight for regular season champion. However, I think even if Cloud was to win and Jamie did not finish, I think Jamie would be crowned due to countback, based on the performance that Jamie's had so far this season. With that, I think it was 3 or 4 second places in a row before he finally got his first victory, which sealed his position in the playoffs. But he leads the championship on 79 points, does Jamie. He is ahead of last week's race winner. A very controversial decision was made to decide the victory for Danny Quinn, or Speed Quinn, who I believe is the driver we're waiting for. Can't get in the lobby, having issues at the moment, I believe. That's who we are waiting for. But yeah, he sits second place in the standings, 8 points behind Jamie, so he's a threat to taking the crown of regular season champion for season 2. In third place is Joker winner at Silverstone, Gareth Hall. He is 10 points adrift of Jamie, 2 points adrift of Danny in third place with 1 win to his name. So we've had 7 different winners in the first 7 rounds. 8 people should have qualified, but unfortunately Connor withdrew from the competition and went down to reserve. In fourth is Italy winner, Speed Y Racer, or Yuri, on 66 points. He's still in the fight, 13 points behind Jamie. So mathematically, even without a victory, should or has a possibility to beat Jamie if he was not to finish. So there's some permutations for you to keep an eye on during the race. Jake in 5th, who won the first round of the season, 63 points for him. He is 16 points adrift. If he is to win the title, I believe it's a must-win for him, and he's the only other driver, I believe, that can win this title. It's really a 4-way fight, but it can be a 5-way fight if Jake can pull it out of the bag, win the first and win the last. Good way to do it, and become regular season champion in doing so, and being the first driver this season to get 2 wins on the board. Chris, in 6th, is yet to win a race, but has advanced on points. First driver to do so. Cameron Blair, who took the victory, can't remember what it was in. I will do some research to figure out, because I commentated on it and Cameron won. Maybe it was Italy. Maybe I'm just getting my facts mixed up, and that's great commentary for you. But either way, he's on 54, can't be crowned regular season champion, but has 1 win to his name. Every driver inside the top 7 has a substantial amount of playoff points, and that will be critical when we get into the playoffs, so that gives them an advantage ahead of the 3 drivers at the moment in the playoff spots, yet to get a win and yet to advance on points this season. They are Matry, Barry, Baldwin and Niels. All 3 of them, 53, 49 and 42, all at threat of not qualifying for the playoffs. It's very close. 15 points is the gap from Matt to Jess, who sits 11th. So she is looking for yet another good result this season and can maybe snatch a position inside the top 10. She's got to keep an eye on Matry, Barry and Niels. Still in the fight, mathematically, on points, is Waze, who's 12 points adrift of Niels. He can still get through without needing a win, but it needs to be a top 4 finish for him. Maybe even top 5. Top 5 finish for Waze without Niels securing any points. Billy Watts, who was on good form to win at Silverstone, but picked up too many penalties and restarted safety car. Did a safety car restart incorrectly and was penalised for it. He sits 13th on 24. He's 18 points back. I believe that's impossible to catch up to without a win, because he get 15 points for 2nd place. So he's on a must win. Also on a must win is Matt Rosamond, Liam New, Noah, Isaac, Andy and Kaya. We have 3 jokers. Listen carefully if you are watching the stream and racing. These are the 3 drivers you've got to watch out for. They're all outside the top 10 and can be a threat to you if you have not already advanced to the playoffs, or if you're one of those drivers that can still get through mathematically, even though if you're sitting 11th or 12th and you can still get through. These are the 3 drivers you need to watch out for. They are Liam, Kaya and Noah. Those are your 3 jokers. They will be attempting the 1-stop compared to everyone else. I've been informed in chat that it's going to be a wet to dry race. Wet to dry race. Interesting. So 22 laps that the drivers are going to have to endure in mixed conditions. That's going to benefit the Joker drivers substantially. If it goes from wet, if it starts wet, like in the wets on wet tyres, then they'll have to do a 2-stop if it's going to dry up anyway, because they'll go wets to inters to dries. But if you start on mediums, 1-stop's a breeze, really. If you can get past half distance on a set of intermediates and then it dries up. What do you mean? What are you laughing at, Cloud? Are you lying to me? Are you lying to me, Cloud? Oh, 88%. No, I don't think that's going to be mediums then. Thank you, Bazza. So, mediums, inters. So, full wets, then inters, and then dry tyres, from the sounds of things. But there is a possibility that the inters can be a durable tyre at the start. Even if they're a little bit slower, if you can keep it on pace, you won't have to suffer that extra pit stop if the conditions change so quickly. First driver out on track in our qualifying session is reserve Thomas Nevitt. Done a few races in JACKOCAR this season. Joined this season as well in his nice blue, white and gold pinky purple helmet as he runs down towards Blanchimont and the bus stop, and will be the first to start a flying lap. Currently invalidated on his out lap, but that's not the one that counts. the one as he exits the final corner. Oh, that's a little bit deep. That's going to be a corner cut. And that might be the end of his qualifying already. It is indeed. And Thomas, even though on a fly, will have to complete it. Unfortunate for him, we'll go on board with Kaya, our first joker on track, who is most likely to set our first flying time. Kept it valid on his outlap, but looking for a decent number of points. Not got the greatest record of finishing in JACKOCAR so far this season and last season. Currently last in the standings on 6 points, and in a must-win scenario to get through to the playoffs. He is on Joker, so that means he doesn't have to do an extra pit stop compared to everyone else, but may not matter because of the changeable conditions. Into turn 1, into La Source for the first time. Now down towards Radion and Eau Rouge. This can be a very treacherous corner, but Kaya shows how easy it can be. Down the Camel Straight now to end the first sector, and we'll get our first sector time of the session down the first sector straight. 30.9, nicely through Laycombs, nice and clean, using the curves to his advantage. He says he enjoys racing around here, and so far putting in quite a good lap, keeping it nice and clean and tidy. It may not come out to be the fastest at the end of the session, but if you keep it nice and clean, and everyone else doesn't keep it clean and invalidates, it can be on for a great qualifying position. Keeps off the inside curb of Pouan. That can loosen the rear, takes the grip away from the front end, and your rear just comes flying ahead of you, and there's no idea where you can go. Keeps it valid even though he runs extremely wide as it comes towards Stavelo. End of the second sector, 1:18 is his total time in the 2 sectors as he comes towards the fastest corner of the track. Blanchimont, fast left-hander, possibility for overtaking can be done down towards the bus stop, and we'll see plenty of it with the benefit of DRS once the rain clears up, but at the moment drivers are able to use DRS. Now to the bus stop, nice and clean. We'll set a valid time if he could keep the power nice on exit up to the line. Our first time on the board is a 47.4. Wasn't the fastest lap time that we might see today, but it's clean and it's on the board, and we'll guarantee to start ahead of Nevet, who has followed the rules, set the lap, and is going to come in for an in lap. Next is Kingan. Purple first sector, but runs extremely deep. Doesn't want to touch the inside curb or the left hand or right hand curb of Laycombe. You can touch the left more than the right. It's less likely to spin you out if you can get the corner speed correct. Now through Brussels and towards the coveted no name, but just has a name. As he runs wide, that's going to be invalid, and it is invalid from Kingan, the Swedish driver, not having the greatest season and looks to be starting towards the back of the grid. No higher than 16th for Kingan here at Belgium. Next we have our next 2 Joker drivers, Evil Dragon, who's just started one, and Noah Clark, who's coming through Brussels right now. Noah has some decent pace and has been seen to have decent pace over the course of the season. Can be up there fighting for high points paying positions, but at the end of the day his form is not quite there, and hopefully he can pick it up at the most crucial part of the regular season, the final race, where all really matters if you're going to be fighting for the playoffs or for the chase. If you don't know or understand the NASCAR rules of this league, I may give you a little bit of an explanation. Chrome gold on Noah's car as he comes towards Blanchimont after leaving Stavelo. Got a yellow flag of Kaya up ahead. Hopefully Kaya will be clear and out the way. Decides to back out before getting in the way of Noah. Very sensible. Now through the bus stop chicane. Does he get a nice clean edge? A little bit of a tank slap up to the line. Was be an improvement on Kai as it will. It's a 45.2 from Noah, but just remember that's already a Joker 1-2. Can it be a 1-2-3? Evil Dragon next. Purple second sector as far as we know. In the yellow. Whether Noah Clark missed his time slot. No, these two drivers are quite close, but it is quite a long lap. You can take as... There is a minimum lap time you should do. But what can Evil Dragon do? Goes provisional pole position. Another second quicker. It was 2.5 seconds from Noah to Kaya. And now it's another second from Evil Dragon to Clark. Bill's starting a lap. Next is Newgarden, who's coming down the Camel Straight. Not had the luckiest season so far. Nice and tidy through Lacombe. Keeps off the inside curve, but runs a little bit deep on the second part of Lacombe. Now's the run down towards Brussels. As Bill has retired from the Grand Prix, our first victim of the undulation of Radion and Eau Rouge. Top of Radion has lost the car. As you see, Neil's going through that complex of track on his outlap. Newgarden then through Pilon, keeps away from the inside curve on both parts of the corner. Now into this tricky, tight section. Can be fast slow, and if you get the corners and apex is right, doesn't run as wide as we saw Kaya go. Now through Stavilo and ends the second sector purple. 2 seconds up on what we saw Kaya do, so that's so far looking at a 45. But there's a lot of time to find in the bus stop if he gets the apexes right. Through Blanchimont should be flat, but in the wet weather, I'm pretty sure drivers are going to lift if they don't want to be crashing. Will drivers put a dry setup or a wet setup on? That's going to be crucial as well. Through the bus stop, takes and hits both apexes beautifully. Is this provisional pole position? It's not, but he's on the front row at the moment and sneaks into the 144s by 8 thousandths of a second. Newgarden on the front row for now. Oh, it should not have gone bald with Waze there. That is an accident, and that could be rear wing damage for Waze there, as he looks to try and capitalise on a few mistakes that other drivers have made or are going to make. We'll go on board with Jess as Waze's lap is invalid. He will have to complete it, but it won't be competitive, and he'll be starting no higher than 11th. On board with Jess, 4 points shy of her first appearance in the playoffs for Jess. I think she's on her whole all-time scoring points run and is in really good form because she keeps it clean. Doesn't push as hard as everyone else, doesn't push the boundaries of track limits, boundaries of the car. But keeps it clean, doesn't touch either curb through the second sector. We saw a 16 in the middle sector split for Newgarden. That's a 17, so it's at least half a second down. So could be slotting either in between Noah, Clark and Kaya, or between Newgarden and Clark. Let's keep it clean, Thomas. Just nice and easy into turn one. Race isn't won on lap one. Pick your fights, pick your braking points. Make sure go for overtakes when other people make mistakes. Jess up to the line. It's P4, slots in between Noah, Clark and Kaya. Nice and cautious for her, but so far on the board. Next is Niels, who unfortunately is invalid and was about to come through Blanchimont. He's going to be starting near the back, and he's the driver with an issue at the moment. He's 4 points from being knocked out of the playoffs, and the rival and the driver that could do it is currently sitting P4, and Niels is going to be starting at least 10 positions behind her. Well, maybe 10, should be 10 positions behind her, and that was a 144.5. That'd have been P2, you know, but they couldn't keep it on the track. Don't keep your lap. Next is Bazza. He's a driver yet to qualify for the playoffs. We've got a little bit more of a cushion than Niels. 11 points between him and Jess, and just a finish, just a top 10 finish would be good for enough for Bazza to secure a position in the playoffs, I believe. Top 10 finish. I think he just needs like 4 points or 5 points to secure his position. What can he do in qualifying though? Round the final corner in his Braun GP. Nearly runs wide on exit, but up to the line. Track's looking a little bit slow. I was predicting in chat that we could see a low 42, high 42, low 43. But I think a lot of drivers are choosing wet setups, and that can be seen on track with the lap times because you're putting a little bit more downforce on. That's not required in the dry, and produces a slower lap time. You'll be fast through the corners, but where it's straight, which is what Kamababa about to do, you won't be hitting those top speeds as you would be if you had the lower downforce. Kamababo, first driver on the list on qualifying, already through. We didn't see an decisive set of time because he struggling so far as King and Never weighs indecisive and Bill, all failing to set a time in this qualifying session. Kamababa is coming up to a little bit of traffic in this sector of the track. 2 cars in the space of a couple of corners, not what he is going to be wanting with the dirty air on this game through Puon. This is going to affect his second sector, but luckily Bazza gets out of the way. Those ERT boys' coordination on point so far. Over middle sector apparently, but what will we see Kamababo do? 44.2 is his target. Has he taken the risk, decided to go for a dry setup and just try and lead from the front and have the visibility that you're going to get from the front compared to being at the back? It's going to be crucial. Be very careful into turn 1. There's going to be a lot of spray, and just pick your braking points there and then. Kamababo only on the front row. Thank you, Callum. Me and Yuri were going to play Apex, but you might have turned me there. I might hop on. But Kamababa on the front row. You've made me lose my train of thought now. And next is Cloud. Already through. Without a win. On points. But not going to be setting a time in qualifying. But with such a low race number, it's going to start no higher than 8th. But in a good position, no less. Next is Jake. Hasn't won a race since round 1. I'll turn you. Will you, Callum? Will you? Jake will not set a time either because he has invalidated. Come on, guys. Keep it on the track. Makes it exciting because we've got a Joker on pole position at the moment. Up next is Speed Y Racer. Our first contender for regular season champion in the orange, representing his Dutch compadres, and at his second home, keeping it on the track at the moment. The next part of this lap is not the most difficult. Traction zones can be crucial, but you shouldn't be invalidating for the rest of the lap. Through Blanchimont, doesn't touch the inside curb. Possibility for spinning, definitely don't touch it if it's in the rain. Down towards the heavy braking zone of the bus stop. Round, a little bit loose. Round the final corner. First part of that bus stop was a little bit loose, but it's provisional pole position and it's nearly a second faster than Evil Dragon. What can our final 3 drivers do, and can they snatch pole position from the Dutchman? Gareth, third in the table. Third in the standings, 1 win, Joker success at Silverstone. Can he put it on the front row or even pole position here at Belgium? We did get a purple flash when he went through the second sector, so it might not be pole position, but there's a possibility for it to be on the front row if he can keep it clean through the bus stop chicane. Nice and tidy, a little bit tidier than Yuri. Yuri could have lost a little bit of time, but up to the line for Gareth, and it is on the front row, only just quicker than Evil Dragon. Evil Dragon's starting to lose lose positions left, right and centre as drivers higher up the table start putting the lap times in. We're into the 43s, and that's a good time from Yuri. Maybe he risked the dry setup and didn't think it'd be that bad. Maybe the rain clears up really quickly. I know a dry setup on intermediates is quite suitable, but on a wet track it can be very difficult. What can Yuri's speed compadre do? Last week's race winner at Baku, after his controversial pit stop, nearly left a turd on his face, but he's on course to maybe snatch another pole position from Yuri. He's done it in one hub, and I think he did it last week or the week before. Can he do it again? There's only one man that can stop him, and that could be Splinter. Quinn down towards the bus stop. Got plenty of EOS to use in his locker to burst out of the bus stop up to the line. Is this provisional pole position? And it is by a 1/10.5, just over. And it's a speed 1-2. And at the moment, the 4 drivers in contention for regular season champion. And those bonus playoff points, that could be really crucial come the end of the playoffs and your spot in the championship 5. What can Splinter do? Can he beat all of them? Can he sit himself on pole position again? He can't, but it's an orange 2-3. And Splinter splits Yuri and Gareth. It's a speed 1-2. Quinn from Yuri from Splinter. And it's Gareth. All 4 drivers heading for the playoffs, heading for the fight for regular season champion, are on the front 2 rows. But crucially as well, for Liam, Noah and Kaya, they're all starting in a decent position on the 1 stop. All depends on how wet it's going to be at the start of this Grand Prix. So there's qualifying for you. Jarno up there on our left, as Speed Quinn takes pole position ahead of his Speed compadre. I love saying that word, I don't know why, I'm just going to say it. Speed 1-2 ahead of Splinter and Gareth. Next is leading Joker driver Uva Dragon ahead of Kamababo. Newgarden's starting in a good position to try and recover. He's on a must-win though for a chance in the playoffs. Noah Clark and Bazza 8-9. Jess and Oja, Kaya are your top 11, and the final 2 drivers who set times on the board. Cloud, Bill, Jake, Indecisive, Waze, Niels, Thomas and Kingdon all failed to set a time, either it being due to being invalidated or spinning it and crashing. Look at that. Very wet. There is no formation lap as far as I'm aware, so we've got to be very clear and be ready and on our toes for lights out. We're going to have Quinn on the right hand side of the grid. He's going to have the inside. Yuri's going to have the left hand side, the racing line, which is actually quite interesting. But it gives an opportunity for Quinn to defend down towards turn 1. Your 30-second timer has begun, and drivers have sorted out their fuel, their strategies. I see intermediate tyres there in that box. Does that mean these drivers are intermediates? And if they are, that is going to be really, really crucial for our 3 Joker drivers, because they are only going to be on 1 stop and they won't have to touch the wet tyres as long as it don't get any worse. They can go from inters to dries on 1 stop. So here we go then. 5 red lights on our screen. Quinn on our left, you on our right. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. And there's already been a crash off the grid as the driver has not gone off the grid and spun, but in towards turn 1. Quinn's the inside, but Yuri got the best start of both of them. Is going to try and hold it round the outside through La Source and down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. But Quinn got the better exit on Yuri on the inside and holds on for now. But it's going to be a long stretch down towards the Camel Straight. We'll see if there's any collisions. Quinn runs wide, but it's going to be susceptible to an overtake down towards Lake Combs. There's a couple of spinners behind. I see Jess losing positions left, right and centre. Yuri to the left-hand side. The racing line breaks towards La Source. Not La Source. Lake Combs. Quinn almost runs into the back of him. And these guys are technically rivals for the championship, but also teammates in esports terms, don't want to be taking each other out, and Quinn don't really want to be taking out Boss Man. Otherwise, he will be having words with you. But Yuri leads from Quinn as a virtual safety car has been deployed. Let's see if I'm pretty sure everyone is on intermediate tyres. It looks like we're getting pretty racy under this VSC, whether it's because the Delta's messing up, but we're going green flag running once again. Any drive-through penalties for anyone? Everyone keeping it nice and green on the Delta. No drive-throughs for anyone, but Yuri leads from Quinn. Gareth held on to third. Evil Dragon's already up to fourth, ahead of Splinter, who lost 2 positions off the start. Camababa's in 6th. Newgarden's held position in 7th. Bazza's up 1 as Bill loses more positions towards the back. We've got Cloud, Noah down to 10th. But still on Joker and in good form. Jake further back. Kington's had a good start. Jess losing quite a few positions at the start. Waze is trying to gain off ground after a poor qualifying with indecisive. Neil's dropping back. Not a position where he wants to be. He's already behind Jess. Points positions are being paid out for everyone who finishes the Grand Prix. There's a change for position as Yuri is already into the pits. Has he got damage? Or is this strategic? Because he knows he has to do 2 stops, and if he knows it's going to dry up, then he only needs to make 1 dry pit stop. Yes, it might be slower to do it this way, but there's more chance of a safety car in the wet conditions. Onto a fresh set of inters for Yuri. That is strategy for him. A lot of drivers have followed suit, to be honest. Gareth, Splinter, Kama, Babo, Cloud, Niels, Bill, and Thomas, all in the pits along with Kaya, whose Joker, I believe, is already out the window as he crawls into the pit lane. No full caution safety cars yet, as Bazza up to 3rd. Newgarden up the inside through Lake Carmel is on the podium. Is Newgarden? Yes, he hasn't made a pit stop, but that's great clean progress for him, and to try and get towards the win, but very loose on the exit, and now side by side between him and Bazza through Brussels. Bazza runs very wide to both leave each other a lot of space, and very great racing between the two. Newgarden through speed. Quinn leads from Evil Dragon, who's going to be loving this because he's only 3.6 seconds off the lead and has to make 1 less pit stop. Yes, the pit stop round here is a little bit lower than a lot of other races, but what's good about this track is that if it was fully dry, the 1 stop is extremely easy to do. As you can see there, if it was to be completely wet, the 1 stop on inters throughout would work perfectly. Any battles, any overtakes, it's a little bit of a Newgarden train all the way down to P7. Kington's up to 7th, but a lot of drivers have already made their first pit stop. Never on wets, not comfortable on those intermediates was Never, and decided to think it's too heavy for inters. On to wet tyres. Kaya's on hards. That's an interesting strategic choice. I don't think it's dry enough yet. I think that's a cause for concern as Yuri gets by indecisive as just before Pouan got the exit right through through Bronchemont, got the exit right of Stavilo. Newgarden into the pits, taking advantage as well, along with Speed Quinn. Those 3 speed drivers in the party talking to each other, communicating well, realising now's the best opportunity to take a pit stop because you probably will go on medium tyres at the end for the end of the Grand Prix, unless there's 8 laps remaining and then soft tyres all the way. But where does Quinn come out? He's been undercut quite significantly, even though he was already on fresh inters and they wouldn't have been that worn. He has been undercut by Yuri a little bit, but the pace has been quite simple. But Quinn loses the back end, he's into the wall. How the hell has he kept that from damage? Cold tyres. Oh, it's been a collision between between Waze and Kingdon through Les Combs. That should be a safety car and is a full course caution safety car. And Waze and Kingdon, your playoff hopes are over. You will be in the chase from next week. Now this is crucial. Did Quinn pick up any damage? He slightly grazed the wall. If he used the wheel and not the wing, then yeah, he could be fine. But with simulation damage, he could have picked up anything. Could have even lost the wheel. But very, very lucky boy. But cold intermediates, they might be warm, but they're not in the right temperature, so to say. They're in blanket temperatures. They're not in track working temperatures, which they need to be a little bit cooler than 90 degrees to work in wet conditions. There's about between 75 and 80, maybe 75 and 85 are the best working window for intermediates. Quinn very lucky, but hangs on to P2. Gareth, Kamababa and Splinter, who all pit along with Quinn and Yuri, have all lost out massively in time, but regained it, because I thought Quinn was going to lose positions due to that incident. Very lucky for him. But this is what's crucial now, as we have a white car of who's the white car at Eau Rouge? Is that Nevitt? Oh, Nevitt's just retired. Nevitt's just retired on the wet tyres, up Eau Rouge and ready on. 3 drivers down. Won't be seeing a safety car down as well. Kaya still hanging out there on those hard tyres. Could still work if it dries up on the safety car. If it dries up on the safety car, you can still win this race. The hard tyres will be a lot slower than the rest of the drivers who are going to be on mediums. But could go to the end where he's doing very well to keep it on track. So Evil Dragon leads the way. He is effective race leader even on pit stops due to his Joker. Kai's took a risk. Yeah, it's sometimes worth it if you're at the very back. Now that a safety car's brought you back in, as long as you can catch up, there is an opportunity. So Bazza still has to make 2 stops. No one, the Joker is up there as well, so he's still in this. Jake is a contender for the regular season. But he's pit stop behind his rivals. Jess is up there as well, but still needs to make 2 more pit stops. But crucially, is way ahead of Niels, on track in terms of cars and distance, but still needs to make that extra pit stop. But in a good position at the moment. So net race leader is Evil Dragon. Net second place is Noah. Then you've got Yuri. Net third, Quinn, Gareth, and then all the way down to Kaya. Actually, Kaya's made 2 stops, so technically Kaya's net race leader. But if it stays wet, I don't think those tyres are going to be suitable. It doesn't look like he's closing the gap to the safety car. We have already crossed the second sector split, so I don't think Kaya will be catching up too quickly, as he's already lost another 2 seconds to Bill, who hasn't caught up yet. So safety car will either go without him at the end of the next lap. Might have been worth sacking off the Joker just for track position, because it's clearly that Kaya is struggling on those hard tyres as the leaders come through the bus stop. I don't want to be seeing any 5-second penalties pop up on my screen, drivers. It's not what I want to see. Keep your distance between everybody, a nice at least 1 car distance to the car ahead. Your priority is the car ahead. If a driver hits you from behind, unless you've slammed the brakes on purposely, it's the driver's behind's fault, essentially. Unless there's lag, then that's the game's fault. Niels has already picked up a 3-second time penalty for track limits, and we'll keep that with him to the checkered flag. If it's 5 seconds, he can serve it under his next pit stop. Newgarden's done well, currently sitting in a very strong position. He's got Niels behind him. He's finally caught up, indecisive he should catch up, and Bill all coming down the Camel Straight through Lake Com. A lot of spray, so any of these guys at the back on the restart is going to get a face full of spray. What we will do is we'll go on board with Evil Dragon, who'll get the restart going. What's that gap to Kaya to this pack? 41 seconds. Maybe he wasn't catching up to Bill because he hadn't caught up to the pack yet, so Bill was running at a decent speed, so now Kaya can probably catch up. Whether he catches up before the safety car comes in, I don't think the safety car will stay out longer than 3 laps, usually. While we wait for green flag running to commence, we'll go to the constructors. Turtle Legs lead the way with 2 wins and 227 points. 32 points ahead of Team Dumpf, who also have 2 points on the board. 195 points for them. Squadra Voila, or Viola, are on 147 with 1 win to their name. They're in 3rd place. In 4th place, but with 2 wins to their name, are the Four Tops with 144. Quite far down the order in terms of the championship table, but with 2 wins on the board. And Gemdrix Motorsports broke the 100 points, and but have no wins on the board yet. Safety car seems to be staying out another lap. Kaya seems to be catching up, and we will get one more yellow caution lap. Long lap round here is Spa-Francorchamps. Longest of the season until Saudi Arabia joins the party. I'm watching you guys. Don't start switching positions. Oh, Baz has spun. Baz, what have you gone and done that for? How have you done that? And he now has no front wing. Is going to be a little bit of a nuisance to the 2 drivers behind. Bill and Indecisive had an accident. What's going on here then? Were they involved in Bazza's incident? Splinter has illegally overtook Bazza, even though Bazza had spun, so he's got a 5-second time penalty, which will not get removed because you serve it, and any further safety cars will nullify the effect. So, for example, if there's a safety car at the end of the race and you're less than 5 seconds off the lead, say down in P7 somehow, and you could still win the race if you took those 5 seconds off. And I don't think that's fair on the drivers ahead who didn't get... Yes, you got a 5-second penalty out of no fault of your own. Yes, maybe you did get an illegal overtake on Badzer as he was trying to rejoin. Maybe you shouldn't have overtook him, but we'll find out. Guys, keep it on the track. Come on. Kai's finally caught up, so we should be able to get this race back underway. And it could be a masterclass for him. You've got the chase ways. Points get reset. You've got 5 races to do it. 4 races to do it. Quite a few races. Get a win under your belt and you're in a good stead in the chase. Every single driver is still within a chance of winning the title. Every single one here, unless you're a reserve, but every single full-time driver still has an opportunity to win the title all the way after the regular season. So the points just get reset. Any playoff points go towards your points tally at the start of the playoffs. As we get ready to go back, green flag running, safety car in this lap. All the drivers have caught up. Evil Dragon will be leading the way, and we'll keep an eye on his accelerator. That can't go until the start finish line doesn't go just yet. Start finish line's down, he's gone, it's beautifully done, and will hang on to the lead from Noah Clark. But Yuri has had a thrumptuous start. Noah Clark dives up the inside. Don't think that's going to stick, but blocks Evil Dragon on exit. Yuri takes full advantage of that. He's going to go side by side with Noah towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Will they have the balls to do so? Yuri takes the lead. Noah Clark sits back. And that's a beautiful restart. Whether it was legal or not, as Bill retires from the Grand Prix, Badso finally makes it into the pit lane with that front wing damage. Could have done with an extra lap, so he could have caught back up. But Yuri leads from Clark, Jake, Quinn, Gareth, Cameron Babbo's overtaking Jess down towards Les Combs. Did Yuri jump? I won't know, because I was only on board and making sure that the leader doesn't jump. We have a ruling now that if If a driver jumps before the leader, there is a penalty going to be awarded. Splinter's losing positions left, right and centre. He's down to 10th now. Has he sort of picked up any damage? Or was his risk of a dry setup not paying off at the moment? Neil's doing well, and his target ahead is Jess. He's a pit stop ahead of her, and is within that threshold that Jess will not outscore him if it was to finish like this. At the moment, Bazza, Niels and Indecisive are all safe at the moment, but it's really close as Cloud gets by Jess. Jess lets Niels through as well. You know, that's not one of the people you should be fighting. That's one of the people you should be fighting and not letting through. The Splinter's next. Look, Jess runs a little bit wide through Stavelo. And will Splinter get the run down Blanchimont? But further ahead, Quinn's under pressure from Gareth through Blanchimont. This is a battle for net P2. Evil Dragon's lost a lot of positions on that restart. But Carababo goes for a little send on Gareth. Carababo go outside to inside through the bus stop. What can these do? Can Cloud get involved? Side by side up towards La Source at the start of lap 8. Yuri with a comfortable lead so far in net P1. Side by side for Carababo and Gareth. Cloud was to get involved on exit. Can he get a run on Gareth? Oh, really loose for Cloud in the back. Will he be susceptible to an overtake from Niels? Will Niels try and go down the inside through Eau Rouge? But at the top of the hill, Gareth's extremely slow. Really slow even, that he might lose not one but two positions down the Kemmel Straight. What will the slipstream do? He's lost one to Cloud, but tucks into the slipstream. But he's got to be careful of Niels, who might have covered off his inside overtaking opportunity down towards Les Combs. But Cloud's ahead of Gareth. Gareth's lost two positions from the bus stop and could lose more if Niels gets involved as well. But Quinn hanging on to Gareth is now under pressure from Camo Babbo and lost a lot of time to Jake and Noah ahead. Baz has taken a risk. He's on medium tyres as well. Knows that oh, that's really slow. Really slow up Erosion Radion. Is that his second stop? That is, so he had to do it really, but another safety car can bring him back into it. Just don't be the one that causes it. Quinn and Carababo swapping positions. Carababo getting Argy Bargy, I believe, and made the move work through Puon and the next section of corners. Quinn doesn't seem to have the wet pace, but had the dry pace. Maybe that's what's hindering him. Hopefully it dries up soon and we can see more pace from Quinn, who's under pressure from Cloud now, down towards Blanchimont. Maybe carrying a little bit more downforce than the drivers behind, and why is susceptible to an overtake. Side by side between Niels and Gareth. Niels is run off the track, but holds on to the position. Whether he got the move done before he held on to the position before he went off track. But Yuri not pitting, and probably the only one other than Niels to not do so. Indecisive hasn't done it. Maybe not worth the risk for the double stack. But Yuri was leading the race and had the opportunity to pit there and then. Everyone else is in and going to be on dry tyres. Anyone who's done one stop anyone who's already done one stop will go on to mediums to the end. Anyone who hasn't done a stop and's got to do two will do two sets of soft. That's what Jake's doing. That's what Jess is doing, I believe. They'll be doing two sets of softs to the end. Everyone else will be doing mediums. Kai is making positions up after taking the risk, but not as many as he would have liked. Quinn's lost out in the pits as there's a yellow flag up Erosion Radion. And it's Camo Babbo who's out of the Grand Prix. I saw a yellow car go straight, but it's Camo Babbo and that safety car. And oh boy, is that not good for the likes of Yuri, Niels and Indecisive. Oh no. Oh dear. The track is now bone dry. And here's a query for you. Here's something that might be implemented into the rules for the future. If you're on the wrong tyre compound on the safety car, are you allowed to pit with the safety car or not? Because if anything, you're a danger staying out for a whole lap, especially at this track on the wrong tyres. You really are a really bad danger for the rest of the drivers. And they're the three leaders, and they're the ones that are going to get the restart going. They're going to get a really bad restart under traction compared to everyone on dry tyres. And, well, it is JACKOCAR, and he does love a little bit of carnage, so it doesn't surprise me that this kind of thing is going to happen, and will happen. But Noah on the one stop, outside of the playoffs at the moment, putting Niels under threat as well of not being in the playoffs. Niels last season was chase champion and got a position in the Championship 5 and was so close to being crowned champion. It was him and Esti Mats who were fighting for indecisive pits. Interesting. Does he have no front wing? He has a full front wing. Illegal pit stop. So that will be a 30-second time penalty. Maybe these guys think the 30-second time penalty is not worth it, and probably not if there's a late safety car. You'll go from first to last instantly. Bold strategy for indecisive. He is pretty comfortable on points inside the playoffs. He's 15 points ahead of Jess, so Jess needs a win or P2 to knock indecisive out, and Bazza needs to outscore indecisive by 4, and Niels will need to outscore him by 11. Niels really now under threat of losing that final spot in the playoffs that opened up due to Connor turning to a reserve as from full-time driver. That spot has opened up kind of surprises, and that could be anyone's. We're not even half distance, and the order could flip itself once again, and we could see Kaya at the front after making a really bold strategy. But he's going to be on the slower tyres now for the rest of the Grand Prix, so maybe not the best strategy in the end. But not really good for Yuri and Niels. As we wait for Bazza to catch up to the field, we probably will go for one more lap unless safety car comes in now. Bazza's going to catch up. Will the safety car indicate to come in, or will we have to suffer another lap, or will it be a late call? Come on, Michael Massey. Let us know. Let us know how much time Yuri and Niels are going to lose on these intermediate tyres. The longer they go, the less time they have to reclaim the mistakes they've made. Unless there's another safety car, which is all possible. Never say never. I noticed Camaraba retired. Not sure why. Or how. Oh yeah, I know how. Or Rouge. Hehe. I think our first victim. I know Wazen. No, it's not our first victim. Might be our third victim. I know Nevitt lost it there. I know Bill might have lost it there. Camaraba lost it there. I know Wazen King and battled at Les Combes. Maybe there was a dangerous driver re-entry that caused a collision, but we'll have to go to the stewards to find that out. Will indeed. It's going to be an interesting 11 laps, as Risky would say, putting out all his catchphrases now. But hopefully we get more finishes than we did last week at Baku. The greatest bit of driving from our drivers. But maybe the simulation damage doesn't help either. But you've got to adapt. Adapt or go extinct. Yuri, who had an amazing safety car restart, just called the pit stop at the wrong moment. The issue is Newgarden and Quinn both pit, and they're in the same party as Yuri, and they didn't think to say yeah. So yeah, do it, because the safety car is now in this lap And Yuri and Niels, both Dutch drivers, are going to have to endure a very sunny Spa on intermediate tyres. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Maybe the intermediates have worn out enough that they now have slick tyres, as they do in real life. The intermediates wear out so much that they turn into slicks, like mediums and hard tyres. But I don't think that's been implemented in this game, as Yuri is trying to burn a lot of fuel. I'll go on board, see if he gets the safety car restart right. As much as he wants to pit on those inters, he's not allowed to, and gets his... Oh, he's not gone. He's playing it quite sensible, and now he's gone. Maybe that's what he did on the restart. Niels not got the best. Covers the inside from Noah, who goes right around the outside. Will have the better traction on exit, and gets the position off Niels, who has lost a lot of positions already. Don't go side by side with the driver. Oh, ready on what's Newgarden going to do. He's going to have to back out as Niels going to go slowly. But we'll get the position on the slipstream and DRS that has now finally been enabled. No, it'll get enabled 3 laps after. But Niels gets out of the way of Newgarden. 3 wide down towards Lecom. Yuri is yet to be overtaken from Noah. Ooh, Evil Dragon's gone straight on and comes dangerously back across Newgarden. No contact there, but it was 3 wide down towards Lecom as Jake and Noah both get by Yuri and Gareth, and probably Cloud and Evil Dragon as well. Yuri defends into No Name. That's going to really slow these drivers up, but the traction's going to be there as he's still got to fight for it. Through Puon, side by side, that is not what you want to do. Cloud around the outside, yellow flag sector 2 for Niels on those inters. Yuri's keeping it in check. Evil Dragon's going to try and go round the outside, and does so successfully. Yuri losing a lot of positions, but not as many as Niels. He is at the back and has already lost a lot of time. What will Newgarden do? Who's picked up some damage. I don't know who off the back of. Maybe off Yuri, but he's going to have to make another pit stop for a wing change. Spenter gets through on Jess, as Quinn looks to get through as well. Make up lost ground from a double stack in the pits. Spencer's his next target, but crucially, he's through to the playoffs. But these are the guys that are battling for that spot as champion. Everyone's bumper carring themselves into the bus stop chicane. Don't think anyone picked up any damage. I know Newgarden and Yuri had to pit. Everyone else seems to be okay for now. So Jake leads on the soft tyres, but crucially has to make another stop. Noah Clark on the Joker is comfortably ahead not only of his rivals of Gareth and Cloud, who are also on the 2-stop, who have also completed the 2-stop. He's keeping good pace. Splinter gets through on indecisive, down towards Lecom. Move done before the braking zone. He's back onto the racing line. Job done. What can Quinn do? He seems to be following Splinter through quite cleanly. He's got to go for a better exit here. He's going to have the inside towards Bustles. Will indecisive defend it. He doesn't. Quinn breaks later. And up to P7 for Quinn on the 2-stop already. 2-stop completed already. So at the moment, you've got Noah winning the race. You've got Gareth in second. Cloud is third. The Evil Dragon is fourth net. 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th. Down to Bazza. And you've got Jess, who's got to make another stop. 9th for Kyle at the moment. And it's 10th for Yuri. 11th net for Newgarden. And Niels, after his 2 stops, at the back. Yeah, if Noah wins, that will be 8 different drivers and 8 different races as Niels has spun. Niels is not in a good position at the moment as Bazza gets through indecisive. Yuri gets through on Kaya. Yuri's got a lot of ground to make up and he's going to be begging for a safety car. But he's on soft tyres and he's going to be fastest man of all along him and Newgarden and Niels. Should be fast, but Niels is having a mare through Puon. He's got front wing damage and that could be his playoff hopes over, and down to the chase he goes because Jess could snatch it and is in a position to do so at the moment. She will score a total, we'll do some maths. 7 points Jess will score. 6 points as Yuri overtakes. As Jess finally comes into the pits onto her second set of soft tyres to run to the end. Will she come out ahead of Newgarden, who comes through turn 1? No, she will come out ahead. Newgarden won't get through. But if he can close that gap down to a second, which I don't think he will do, in time for DRS, but could do wonders. I don't think he's going to get it. He doesn't get it, does Newgarden, but he's going to get the slipstream. Got to be wary of Jess braking earlier than most in towards Les Combes, and should get through cleanly if he is patient. Tyre made another pit stop for soft tyres, maybe starts fastest lap, and Niels is in again for a change of front wing. So yeah, at the moment Niels is safe, but if Noah wins, he's not safe. Niels is not safe because Noah could steal that position away from him. And Noah's doing a fantastic job. He's already extended the gap to Gareth by another 4/10 the last time I checked up on it. No real battles, but Evil Dragon is on a charge. He knows that Noah Clark is his rival at the moment. He's got to get by Cloud first, and he's got amazing pace at the moment. Maybe Cloud doesn't need to fight this that much. Maybe they're teammates. Who knows? But Evil Dragon is in a really strong position here, but he's on a must-win to qualify basis. Some work to do for the drivers behind. Let's have a look at gap. Let's look at gap to leader. So Yuri's 27 seconds off the lead. Where he was on the safety car restart, he's pumping in fastest laps left, right and centre. But we're going to have a move and change of position for the final spot on the podium, as it would be when Jake makes his final stop. Liam, Evil Dragon, makes the move on Cloud down towards Les Combes and is flying on these medium tyres. He's been putting some practice in and knows it's crunch time with the Joker as well. Seen Connor do it, seen Gareth do it, and has an opportunity to do it himself. It's going to be him. It's going to be Noah versus Liam if Gareth fights it. But Liam, really good pace at the moment, and plenty of laps and plenty of track time to catch up. Next target is Gareth, who's on the back of Noah. So if these two start battling, Gareth's picked up a little bit of pace here. Probably saved a bit of EOS, which he has done, compared to Noah, who's really low and it needs to do a little bit of saving if he's going to have any opportunity to defend from Gareth down the Kemmel straight. Because at the moment, Gareth's going to get a double dose of DRS down the pit straight and then down the Kemmel. And Evil Dragon will want to get involved in this, as long as he doesn't battle Cloud too hard. What Cloud can do now, he can sit back as Jake speeds in the pit lane and will come on to a set of softs to finish this race. Everyone, I think, has now completed the mandatory pit stops. They have indeed. Yep, they will indeed. Where will Jake come out? He's going to be ahead of Bazza, maybe? Quinn gets ahead. Quinn and Splinter on a great recovery, but it's going to have a really quick Jake, so they better watch out. Yellow flag sector 1, is that Yuri? Or indecisive? Gareth has made a move on Noah, down towards Les Combes, and Quinn has made a move on Splinter, and that's crucial for the regular season championship, but it's not enough at the moment for Quinn. Quinn's going to have to be looking at a race win, and Spencer to be staying where he is for any opportunity for Quinn to take it away. Gareth is doing enough at the moment to snatch it. Yellow flags for Niels again. Newgarden finally gets by Jess with the benefit of DRS. He's been very patient, actually. A little bit more patient than I thought he would have been to get by Jess. He lost a lot of time to Yuri, who they were right next to when they entered the pits. Yuri's been flying, and his first target is indecisive. May not find a lot of ground towards the end of this race, but Cloud has gotten back by Evil Dragon with the benefit of DRS down towards Les Combes, and it's going to be one of those races where it's going to be switcheroo left, right and centre. And oh, that's wide from Noah. Is that a track limit warning for him? Yellow flag sector 3, that's Niels coming into the pits and retiring from the race. Interesting. If Gareth wins this race, Niels is not going to be safe, I don't think. Yuri gets by indecisive. I'm missing these overtakes. They're happening left, right and centre. We'll stay on board with Jake because he's going to make the next overtake, I think, on Bazza. But it may not happen. There may be a change for the lead because these are going to get DRS first. Down towards Lecom. Noah Clark on course for his first JACKOCAR win and to snatch a place in the playoffs. Gas got some really good straight line speed and using his ERS management very nicely. Noah Clark does not have as much ERS and needs to start saving when he's in the DRS. Don't be attacking, just save and just hold on, because you're not going to be attacking anyone when you've got no DRS. Jake and Bazza make the move into Lecom. Nice and clean. Bazza should hang on for a playoff position along with the decisives. How many points does Jess get in that position? 5. Jess will get 5 points. And that is going to knock out Niels from the playoffs and invite Jess in. However, the only people that can stop that happening are Evil Dragon and Noah. And Noah is sticking with Gareth, albeit not harvesting his ERS as much as I try and channel my mental energy towards Noah. Harvest your ERS. You don't need to burn it. You're in DRS. You've got Cloud on the back of you, and Evil Dragons has dropped off the back of that a little bit. Cloud's using his late race pace to maybe snatch his first victory of the season and could still get regular season champion, but Gareth at the moment looks to be the man on a mission to snatch it. So Gareth needs a 10-point overhaul on Jamie, because he'll have 2 race wins anyway. 10-point overhaul on Jamie as Noah picks up his first penalty and looks like he's going to be a sitting duck, even though he's going to have DRS. He's got no ERS. Cloud is going to overtake him easily down towards Lecom, and Noah Clark now with that penalty along with Evil Dragon are not in a position to win this race unless the drivers ahead get one themselves or more. Noah Clark has now got to put a bit of pressure on these guys to make mistakes extending the track. Don't do it yourself, obviously, because you don't really want any more penalties. But Quinn has got to get a move on if he wants to win this race and win the championship. 10 points is what is needed for Gareth to outscore on Splinter to take championship. At the moment, Gareth will get 20. Splinter is set to get 11. That's not enough for Gareth. Splinter will take it by a point. 1 point is how Splinter will snatch it for regular season champion. Quinn's not doing enough either, as there's yellow flag. That's a yellow car. That's Bazza and Jake are out. Will that be a late safety car? Well, Bazza's out, but I believe he should be safe. And there's a drive-through penalty for a collision between Jake and Bazza. I've never seen that before. I've never seen a drive-through penalty being given for a collision. I don't think there'll be a safety car because the leaders are now going down start-finish 8. But there is one. Never mind. Never mind. Oh, ho, ho. This is going to get spicy. Late race safety car. At the end, we're going to get maybe 1 or 2. Definitely 2. I'd say we'll get 2 green flag running laps. Kaya's a long way back. A lot of work for him to catch up. Everyone else is going to stay out and going to be fighting for this win. This brings Quinn back into it. Splinter's back into it. You're, even though with a penalty, is back into it. Jake, I believe, pit because he has no front wing. We'll watch the pit stop. Oh, no. Oh, that's interesting. That's not good for Jake, because he thought he could come in and serve his drive-through. Instead, he's made an illegal pit stop and will be 30 seconds added to his time. So we'll finish last place. Or should finish last place. Jess on the fresher tyres. Well, Kaya's on fresher tyres, but quite a way off the pack. Got a lot of work to do. But the top 6 never caught up to the safety car. Safety car didn't get out in time, so they've essentially wasted a lap under Delta because the safety car came out so late. when those yellow flags were going off. So late. Should have come out earlier. Then you would have collected the leaders, and we could get under green flag running a lot earlier. So we're going to get maybe one or two. Oh no! Can someone ban that, please? In chat, ban that account. Report it, please. Thank you. Had that last week, and we do not want the repeat of it. Luckily for you guys on stream, you don't see it pop up on my screen or anything, but you'll see it in chat. It's not appropriate for Formula 1, really. I don't think it is. But the leaders are finally, or will finally catch up to the safety car that's waiting for them at the bottom of Eau Rouge. Got to wait for quite a few people to catch up. Indecisive, Newgarden, Jake Newgarden does have a penalty. So any drivers that don't have penalties. Well, actually, Bazza isn't technically safe, but he is and he isn't. Bazza does have a substantial points gap over Jess, which is 11 points. But with all these penalties ahead and so few laps left, Jess could snag many positions. But 11 points. You need to be in P5 to get... No, P7 to get 11 points. No, P6. Yeah, it's P6. He needs to be in P6. At the moment, just P10. 5 drivers ahead of penalties. That would be P5 at the end. And could snatch Baz's position in the playoffs. Still all to play for. I couldn't call it. It's only going to find out at the end when we cross the line. We're going to decide who wins the race, who's through to the playoffs, and who's going to be fighting in the chase. But it's all going to be post stewarding. I'm not sure there's a lot to be done under stewarding, as all incidents have been. If the drivers that have been involved in the incidents have either been self-inflicted or already out the Grand Prix. Safety car in this lap. So we're going to get 2 green flag running laps. Count them, 2 green flag running laps. Kaya may not catch up, but he's going to score some good points. And will just reset himself for the chase. Gareth will lead us away on board with him. Cloud will be watching. We know Yuri got a good start when he was further down the field on the restart. He's going to try and jump Splinter, Quinn and Evil Dragon maybe again. But Gareth knows the rules. I'm pretty sure he's led one of these before. He's away. That's quite early. That is quite early. That may go to his stewards for an early restart, but down the inside goes Noah on Cloud. A little bit argy-bargy, and Quinn sneaks through as well. This is JACKOCAR, but Cloud on exit has crashed and is out of the Grand Prix. He was no longer fighting for regular season champion with that DNF. Yuri has made the move on Splinter and is looking at Evil Dragon as Quinn picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's not what he would have wanted. And that invites Splinter to overtake all of these. What will Yuri do? To the inside, down Laycom. Under the brakes on those soft wall tyres. Doesn't want to touch the inside of Laycom. And gets the move done beautifully. But these tyres are going to start to wear out a little bit. Ooh, Evil Dragon loses position to Splinter down towards Brussels. He's got wing damage, does the Evil Dragon. Maybe he caused the contact between himself and Cloud. May go to the stewards at the end, but he may hang out. Should Evil Dragon? May not make another pit stop. Could be worth sticking out anyway. He's got Indecisive and Newgarden on the back of him. So back to the lead. Back to Yuri, should I say. Fastest tyres of everyone. Those medium tyres aren't going to be that good. Yuri's going to get these good exits and everyone's going to have a lot of ERS. You're not really going to expend it, and you should have enough for both laps to go flying all the way through. Gareth doing well, but could be under scrutiny for the restart. Noah, side by side with Quinn. Does Yuri make it 3 wide into the bus stop? No, he doesn't. Quinn goes to the outside. We'll have the inside. And Yuri follows the line. And there's contact between the two. And both are not out, but Quinn is out. I'm not too sure who's to blame there. But that's going to go to the stewards as well as we start the final lap. Yuri now taking advantage of the squabbling ahead. Back up to P2. But won't hang on to it unless he can put a gap of 3 seconds to Splinter ahead. Jess is through on Noah, who's got severe wing damage. He's going to have to go to the end with no front wing. Jess is up to 7th, and at the moment looks to gain at least 1 position up to 6th on Indecisive. She needs 15, 14, 13. She needs P6. She needs this P6 to maybe knock Bazza out of the playoffs. Let's have a look at penalties. We don't care about tyres. Penalties are the ones that we care about. Oh, it's been an accident. Has there? No, just yellow flag through Les Combes. New Garden and Evil Dragon trying to swap positions. This is 4 on track. Indecisive wants to get in the mixer, but this is inviting Jess into all 3 of their penalties. New Garden is going to try and move up the inside through Puon. There's not a lot of track time left. Down the inside as a last ditch move on Evil Dragon. This is for position, and New Garden will want his best finishing position of the season. Jess is right on the back of these and could get a P4 out of this, and that will knock Bazza out of the playoffs. With Bazza's crash with Jake, not sure what happened, could go to the stewards, but Yuri through the bus stop will want to get it on track, and will get it on track as New Garden picks up another time penalty on Indecisive. As Indecisive gets through on Evil Dragon. Gareth wins the race. Splinter will take home 2nd. Yuri will hang on to 3rd place. Jess will get the best position, I believe, or joint best finishing position of the Kia series, and I believe is going to knock out Bazza from the playoffs. Holy moly. Actually, it won't knock out Bazza. It will knock out Noah, because Noah was supposed, not Noah, will knock out Niels. Niels is out of the playoffs. Bazza, I think, will be safe, just about. With Gareth winning, it may be just about. I'm shouting about Bazza not making it through, but I think he's just going to be safe. Jess will get P4 and will be in the playoffs. That is confirmed. Because she outscored Niels, and Niels is going to be in... Niels is going to be in the chase again. So Gareth takes the 2nd win of the season, his 2nd win of the season, and Ruins are 8 from 8. It's 7 from 8 for race winners. Noah Clark didn't have it in him at the end. So Gareth takes victory. It's Gareth from Splinter from Yuri on the podium, with Jess up in P4, Indecisive, Evil Dragon, New Garden, Kaya up to 8th. Noah Clark, after being near the front on that restart, picks up a bit of damage and drops down to 9th. Jake, I'm sure, will be 10th, even with that 30-second penalty at the end. Quinn and Cloud, Quinn and Noah may be under investigation. I'm not sure what happened to Cloud. Maybe there was contact between him and Liam. But your non-finishers are Quinn, Mozza, Bazza, Niels, Carababo, Bill, Waze, Kingan, and Thomas. Wow. Some say Bazza is just about lucky enough to hang on. If there were more drivers in contention for that final spot in the playoffs, then maybe Bazza could have been hanging on for dear life. But I believe he will be through, and so will Jess for her first appearance in the JACKOCAR playoffs, and in really good form, and could be a surprise package and could snatch that final spot in the Championship 5. She's currently doing very well in the Cup Series. I believe leading the chase at the moment, or in good form at the chase after the first round last week at Belgium as well. So 2 strong results for Jess at Belgium. Shows that this is her track. So next week we will be commencing off. We'll be kicking off the playoffs. We'll be kicking off the playoffs where 10 drivers will be fighting it out for 4 positions in the Championship 5. The other 9 will be fighting it out for that one final spot in the Championship 5 position, which will be held at Portimao for the final race of the season. Quick look through the calendar and to show us what we have in store for the next few races for JACKOCAR Kia Series. So on the calendar, as we round out this regular season, Splinter is your regular season champion. I'm not too sure how it played out further behind, but I'm sure Gareth would have got second. Yuri would have overtaken Quinn. So Yuri is third in the championship and gets a playoff point for finishing third as well. Jess will be through in 9th in the championship as well. So next week is Brazil. Really crucial race. Can work as a joker as well. So I'm sure you'll tune in for us next week for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We've got the Brazilian Grand Prix in real life this weekend, and then we'll get on Tuesday. We'll have Brazil as well. Following that, we have Singapore, Bahrain, and Austria. 4 rounds of the playoffs will await these drivers, and then it leads to, on the 14th of December, Portugal will be your Championship 5 race. Thank you all for watching and listening to me, driving me on. I'm trying to drive you on, giving you false information, but I'm pretty sure Jess and Bazza are both through. Splinter is your champion, but there will be some stewarding at the end, I'm sure, that could mix up the order even further. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to check out the Russian Grand Prix on Thursday in JACKOCAR for the final round of the round of 10, which is what you'll see next week here in Kia. The final round of the round of 10 at Russia. That will be commentated by Owen and Jacko. And I'm sure Risky will be joining me soon enough back in the commentary box in the near future. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening and week. Stay safe. I'll see you next week.